Hi, and welcome to November's Fitness and Fuel. I'm Kim and this is Emily. We're here at NutriFormance. Our theme this month is pairings. So I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can pair exercises together. Everything from opposing movements, opposing muscle groups, to high and low intensity moves. And then Emily's going to share how to put food together, food pairings. So in our blog, we will actually put all of these moves together for you as a written workout. But in the video, we're just going to demonstrate how to do each of the exercises. All right, so as I mentioned, we're going to show you how to put it together in a workout in our blog, but really you can use we want to give you ideas today, ideas of how to create your own workout and ideas of how to create your own food pairings. So Emily's going to start with a push-up. We're going to show you a push and a pull exercise here. So for our push, we're doing just a plain old push-up. Obviously, if you're in the gym and you have equipment, there's many more exercises that you can do here. Keep your core tight, your shoulders back, perfect. And then she's going to come onto her belly and she's going to do a lat pull. So traditionally in the gym, you're going to do this as a lat pull down, or you might do rows, but this is going to be your pulling exercise with no equipment. We're using a towel on the floor. She's drawing her shoulder blades back and opening her chest, using her abdominals so that she doesn't compress her low spine. Good. And then she's going to come up and we're going to show you another way to pair is opposing muscle groups. So we're going to do hamstrings and quads here. So for hamstrings, we're going to do some good mornings. She's reaching above her head, so her torso is nice and long. She's letting her hips slide back behind her knees. Maybe show that from the side too. So her hips go behind the knees. She's bending enough so that she can keep a nice straight spine. You should feel the extension of the hamstrings and then feel them contract. Perfect. And Emily loves her hamstring exercise. Favorite. That's a favorite. And then we're going to go to a static lunge. And we're doing a static lunge for the quads because you're engaging the quad of the forward and the back leg here. If you're doing, there's other types of lunges that will still use, you're still using your hamstrings, but other types of lunges will engage the hamstrings more. This will really focus on the quads. Good. And then another way to pair exercises is high intensity and low intensity exercises. So you know burpee, but we'll do one anyway for you. Good. Oh, a full burpee we're doing. Yes, yeah. Full burpees, not just squat jumps. That's all right. She was leaving out the plank. You can do a squat jump though. Perfectly acceptable. And then we're going to show you an inchworm. So two similar exercises, yet high intensity versus low intensity. And you'll see how we put these together for you in the blog. Cool. Thanks.
For your second circuit of pairings, we have got your upper with your lower. We have your reverse sliding plank, bridging up into that plank, sliding out, and then making sure that chest stays nice and open, core tight, pushing through and getting nice alignment on that back. And now we have your squat with rotation, making sure you're alternating with that rotation using those obliques, keeping the core nice and tight, a good narrow squat, and sitting down nice and low, making sure you're pushing through those heels, sending those hips back, not going over the knees. Now we have our flexion and our extension. We have a single leg V-up. We encourage using the single leg because a lot of times what people are going to do in their V-up is just use a lot of their hip flexor strength versus using that core. So engage that core, making sure you're lifting and lowering, making sure that resistance is coming from both sides, that lift and that lower. And now we have our Superman. Making sure here you're laying face down, but that core is still engaged through. You're going to lift upper and lower extremities at the same time. And again, make sure that resistance is on the lift and the release. Belly button pulled up nice and tight. If you're having any low back pain, make sure you want to try either lifting just the legs or just the arms until that core gets nice and strong. And our last high intensity versus low intensity motion is our lateral skater hops. Making sure you're pushing off that outside leg, staying nice and low, and balancing that with your lower intensity motion of that alternating side lunge. So all of these opposing muscle groups, upper and lower, high intensity, low intensity, are great ways to pair your different fitness groups with muscles. So for our food pairings, I have talked to you a lot about making sure you are balancing your intake to prevent blood sugar crashes, to make sure you're not getting over hungry, to make sure you're fueling your workouts. And don't worry, on our blog there will be a refresher on why the nutrition side of why we should pair our foods. But what I want to talk to you about today is more of the side of the food pairings for the flavor enhancement. Everybody's very aware of their salty, sweet, sour, and bitter taste sensations. But there's another one called umami. That is basically the flavor enhancements. There are several foods that carry their own umami, which is basically a profile of that good enhancement of flavor that they carry. An example would be mushrooms are a very good umami flavored food, everything from some seafoods. A lot of your vegetables carry it as well, but it's most prominent in some of your meats too. So making those pairings, that enhancement of that flavor, a lot of people wouldn't think of pairing some of these foods together. For example, cocoa and avocado. If any of you have ever seen icings, ice creams, puddings made out of that cocoa and avocado, that bitter and that fleshiness of that avocado can really pair together, making that dessert item that much more of a healthy option, increasing those heart healthy fats versus just getting that increase from saturated fats. Something else that people usually wouldn't think about is the pairings of salmon with cardamom. Most of us are going to do like a dill, or we're going to do a barbecue sauce, just oil, salt, pepper, lemon juice. But making sure you're trying to put those flavors together that will enhance. So the nutrition aspect is not just about what can do the health of our body, but it's very important to enjoy the foods that we're having. Eating healthy does not mean eating foods that doesn't taste good. You want to make sure that those flavor enhancements are there. So make sure you tune into our blog for all of the recipe options, your food pairings for your nutrition, as well as your flavor enhancement. Thank you for joining us for November's Fitness and Fuel. Make sure you go to our blog to look at the full list of how to place the workout together with further explanations on how to pair your muscle groups on your fitness side. And then we are also going to have our recipes available on the blog as well for your good food pairings. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next month.